If you were to recommend one resource, what would it be?
That is, I think, the most underrated skill.
What do you think the role of AI is in TTRPGs?
Had the AI write the entire adventure.
I was not having fun as a GM.
Don't watch Critical Role.
To solve the art of GMing, I'm joined here today by someone with decades of table experience and the creator of Vigilantes for Shadow Dark, the OG GM.
Yes.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. What do you think is the single most important skill a GM must master?
Ooh, if I could just one?
just one.
I don't know if it's a skill, but patience,
Okay.
I think, would be number one.
Okay, that's interesting. I did not expect that answer. What made you say that?
Because learning the math is easy, right? I mean, it's roll dice, beat number. Every variation of the game is roll dice or draw card, beat number. Once you understand that, everything else is, relatively easy or complicated depending upon the system. Learning the system is easy.
Yeah.
Learning how to run the system and give yourself that ability to be okay with messing up, having patience with yourself. That is, I think, the most underrated skill that really most DMs need to learn. You don't need to learn the game. You don't need to learn the system. You don't need to learn how to do silly voices. What you need to do is learn how to be okay with yourself doing this and give yourself the patience and the forgiveness to mess up, because you're going to mess up. And that's okay. So yeah, if I could teach you, any one skill, it would be just patience, man. It's a never ending skill that you're never going to master. There is no such thing as best DM or expert DM. You're always going to make mistakes, whether it's
Yeah.
1 year, 40 years. So you just have to be patient with yourself and just understand, it's a game. It's fun. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with that. I think that's a big roadblock for a lot of GMs that haven't started yet or are afraid to start is they don't want to like mess up or look bad. But yeah, I totally
Yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
think just going easy on yourself, you're really just there for fun. So
exactly. Due
yeah,
to
there
due to a
shouldn't be.
certain web show, whose name shall remain nameless, unfortunately, the bar was set very high, and a lot of people felt they have to compete with that, especially stepping in to the genre and saying, "Look what they're doing. That's what is expected of me." And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it is impossible for you to copy that.
Yeah.
There's no way you can copy that. You can only be the best DM player you can be at that existing moment. You cannot be them. Only they can be them.
Yeah. I think also another factor in that is also depending on your players, they might not even want that. So you could be
Yeah,
better than that in a different aspect because that's not even what your
exactly.
players want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if players might not want theater, they might want tactical combat, and you might be the best tactical combat guy out there. So
Yeah, exactly. So how does your mindset shift when you're in session versus when you're prepping for your session?
I can't speak for anybody else.
Right.
My motto is start small, do not have a plan, have ideas. So when I'm prepping, I am, razor focusing, researching, writing down all the possible adventure plots, coming up with the NPCs and their names and, the one little thing I need to remember about them. But I never plan. I have 2 or 3 ideas per session. And maybe they follow those ideas, or maybe I have to wing it and they go in a completely different direction. So all the planning in the world um, can't prepare me for how they actually going to react.
That's awesome. So what it sounds like is you primarily only run sandbox games. Would that be correct to assume?
I mean, more or less, yeah. Everything I've run is more or less sandboxy. I don't whether my longest games were either city games or the current game I'm running now, but they're all basically more or less some variation of the I have no idea what you're going to do next.
That's awesome.
I'll have a plot, but it doesn't mean they're going to follow the plot.
Yeah, yeah. That's I love playing in city games. I think right now in our campaign that we're running, we're about to actually. They don't. My players don't know this yet, so Spoiler alert
Spoilers.
if you're watching, but yeah, we're about to head into a city, so I'm really excited for that. So your session prep might look like maybe at most a sentence for depending on
Yeah,
like
a
which
three
way
by
they
five
go.
card. Yeah, 3x5 card. I posted a sentence. Usually, at the start of my sessions, I've got the name of each player character or initiative checks. Then I've got maybe a couple random tables for what they might do, and then I've got like my notes. Like one, what if they do this? Two, what if they do this? Three, what if they do this? And then the rest is just winging it if they do something I'm completely not prepared for.
Yeah, that's
I can run like last week, my last game where I had this encounter that they didn't respond to, and it was going on. They were on the second floor. The encounter was going on the first floor, but they had no real interaction with the encounter until after it was over. So I couldn't force them. I told them they heard a noise, but whatever. They made their choices, and I ran with it.
yeah, yeah. You threw the hook, and it's their choice to bite or not, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I just put the gun on the table. I don't force you to use it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely revisit this. My next question
Listen,
is, what is your priority when GMing? What's at the forefront of your mind?
everybody has a good time, and nobody feels left out or picked on or feels. I don't want people to walk away from my game going, God, I hated that session.
Mm-hmm.
I was so awful. I feel like I was kicked in the stomach because I know what that feels like. I've walked away from sessions where I just feel like, wow, why did I even come?
Yep.
And I don't everybody want to be that. Again, it's a game. It's not rocket science. It's not some golden burning cross on the top of the Talmud telling you the one true way to gaming enlightenment. It's literally goblins with sticks. It's
Y-
it's
Yep.
idiots in a cave. It's that's all it ever has been.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is uh, a hobby, and
Mhm.
that's what it should be. That's kind of the approach I take with. Well, I suppose I'm a little conflicted with players missing sessions. If the player doesn't necessarily need to be there, um, then we can have them kind of, I don't know, be more of a passive player in the party. But if they need to be there, or if the player continuously misses sessions, a part of me is like, well, what matters most is the fun. But the other side of me is saying, we're all here to have fun, and when you don't show up, you're kind of ripping that away from us.
Yeah,
And more so when
for that.
you show up, when you do it repetitively, it really shows that you don't care about
Yeah.
the fun. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
On people not showing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, obviously
Prioritizing fun versus.
we're all we're all adults, and we all have real lives. And at some point, gaming has to take second to job, maybe whatever.
Hmm.
Having access to the interweb obviously makes that a lot easier as opposed to when we were like, you had to be at the table at 6 in person. The
Right,
interweb has definitely helped keeping games going for adults, but at the end of the day, it's a game. It's not important. Your kid's important, your job's important, your mental health is important, your physical health is important, that washing machine is important.
right,
This
right.
is not important. This is a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's not a hobby that it's just goofy fun. If you can't make it because of real life, fine. As long as you let us know and you don't lie. If you're not enjoying the game, don't come up with excuses for why you're not showing up because you're going to get caught in the lie. And then that's going to make people feel like shit. So just say, hey, it's not working for me. No hard feelings. And that's like, fine. Okay. I understand. Real life. You can't make it. If you let us know ahead of time, obviously we can compensate. If you just don't show, okay, emergency. But after two or three times, then you're like, okay, now you're just being disrespectful. You're not showing, but you're also not telling us you're not going to show. And three other people made it. Um, which is why you always have the idea of, okay, well, we have backup characters, we have other quests you can do. Hell, we can play a different game this week because so and so isn't here. There's a long history of secondary campaigns being
Oh
started
yeah.
throughout my life because one person didn't show up or two person didn't show up, and the DM went, "Well, look, why don't we just put it on hold till he can come back, and we're going to play something else, or we're going to run the backup character." So that always helps. But I think as long as there's an honest communication with the player and the DM, and you understand this person has a life outside your game, and you have a life outside your game, and if they can't make it because it's Bob's birthday, that's fine as long as they're honest. Don't lie to me.
Right.
Don't. The best one I ever heard was, "I forgot it was my birthday." That was one
That's
of my best.
awesome.
I was like, "How did you like? If you don't want to come, fine, but don't. I forgot my birthday." And the weirdest one was this guy who left the game and never came back. And he said he left the game. He stood up middle of the game and said, "I've got to go. My puppy knocked over my lava lamp and set my iguana on fire." And he
Oh,
ran out of the building. And
wow.
we never saw him again. And to this day, people are like, what did that mean? How did he know his puppy? Was he just stoned?"
That's
But that's
probably the
just
case.
that one was the best. But yeah, just don't lie to me. I don't care. Just don't lie.
Okay. Yeah, I guess kind of where I was uh what I was referring to was at what point do you just say, "Hey, I don't think this hobby's going to work for you." I
Um,
I don't think me
you
personally
know,
I've had to deal with that, but
yeah, I've had to tell people I don't think my game's gonna work for you. I've never told anybody I don't think the hobby's gonna.
okay. Yeah.
Um, Tabletop role playing games require no skill set, guys. If you're gardening, if your hobby's woodworking, if your hobby's breakdancing, martial arts, basketball, that's work. That's a hobby that also includes some level of constant improvement. There's no work involved in rolling dice and doing adventures in a cave. So some variation of this hobby might appeal to you. I've never met anybody who completely doesn't get it. I mean, for every person who says I don't play D&D, it's stupid, but they're playing fantasy football.
Right.
you know, and you're like, it's the same thing. I can understand my game. My understanding my game doesn't work for you. I can understand that maybe the timeline doesn't work for you, or you don't get it. That's fine, as long as you're honest. If somebody's repeatedly being a jerk or performing in a way that is not conducive to the game, my game anyways, I have no problem saying, look, obviously my play style doesn't work for you. Let me help you find a game that does, because I don't want you to leave the hobby or
Mhm.
feel like you're not welcome. But obviously, there's a personality conflict, which is fine. I'm an asshole. Not everybody gets along with me. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one thing
and
that I tell.
maybe every now and then you might just run somebody who's just like, I don't get it. I can't invest. It's just not for me. And again, that's fine. Uh, all I ask is if you're honest, man, and that you understand that I'm going to be honest with you if I feel like you're being a total not fit. But I never want you to feel like you're unwelcome,
Right.
because again, I know what that feels like. So always try and find them another option. Hey, maybe you like board games. Okay, role playing doesn't work for you. Let's play Settlers of Catan, or whatever.
Right.
Again, it's about the relationship. I want the friendship and the relationship, and the game is just part of that. But if that's not working, there's other things we can do.
If you've made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It's completely free and you can always undo it later. All right, back to the interview. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, I think that's something that I've done before, not playing a separate campaign with different characters, but I've done like flashback sessions where they kind of explore their past a little bit,
Yeah,
or they wake up in the middle of the night and kind of go on their own adventure while everyone else is sleeping.
yeah,
Uh, and I think that stuff is pretty fun. But what
yeah.
you
I've done those
said,
too.
what you were saying earlier, you said you prioritize fun. I do as well. I think that's super important. Um, but when your players say they want to do something and it's not in line with your world, or maybe if you give them what they want now, it'll uh, create a roadblock of fun in the future. Maybe it's something game breaking. And
No, yeah, definitely. That's happened.
okay,
But that's usually my fault for not being able to compensate or understand that I gave them something that broke the game, or that the system didn't work once they did that. Usually, it's give them what they want, but not the way they wanted. Uh, or some variation of what they wanted, and then have find a happy medium. I want a gun. Well, there are no such things as guns in my game. I want a gun. There's no such things as my guns in the game. There are wands, and I
Right.
meet you halfway with a wand that does exist in my game that does something similar. So I can meet you halfway. Game breaking, I mean, again, that's mostly because I didn't compensate. I didn't see the possibility of them breaking the game. You've probably heard my story about a group of eighth level characters totally killing the avatar of Jubilix in 1.5 rounds, because which should have lasted like a half an hour, 45 minutes, because it's freaking Jubilix, but because I didn't understand really the mechanics that they had, and so they were able to break the game because I let them play high level characters.
Hmm.
But then I just compensated. I didn't feel like, oh God, well I can't, my game's done. Okay, I just compensate. All right, now that the avatar of Jubilix has been destroyed, I obviously need to increase the threat level. And how does the avatar of Jubilix being destroyed affect the politics?
Right. Right.
And then they went on. That game continued for about 3 or 4 more sessions.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but again,
So,
that was my fault. It's like the deck of many things. If I throw the deck of many things in, it's my fault.
oh, yeah, that's true. That is true.
If
Yeah.
they
I
find
don't
a way to break
I
it.
don't think I've done that yet. I'm too afraid.
Yeah.
But it might be good for
Or
a
Ring of Wishes.
campaign where I don't plan anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
mean, that's totally, sandbox. The total definition of sandbox is it's a sandbox. You don't play anything. You just have half a dozen adventure hooks,
right.
and they do what they do.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So you said you were um, in these sandbox games. You're a big fan of yes, but as
Yes.
far as preventing the game from breaking. Is there ever a good time for the GM just to say no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. In
Um,
your experience, when have you done that?
uh, Once you agree upon the session zero, once you agree upon the physics of the world, and everybody has said that's it, and then somebody tries to break the physics of the world or do something that is completely and utterly impossible, even with magic. So it's okay to say, yeah, that's not going to work, or that's not how that works, or do you want
Right.
to rephrase that question, because that doesn't exist. I recently had an experience a couple weeks ago where somebody was trying to ask me if the people outside on the surface were coming into the dungeon, and in my brain, I'm like, there's no way you would know that.
Right.
You're downstairs in a cave. There's a raging sandstorm outside. No offense to the person if they're listening. Um, you can't. You have no way of knowing what's going on. You have no way of knowing. There's literally no way of you being able to know what they're doing.
Right.
Minus like a crystal ball or something. But yeah, there's no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super good. I really like that you brought up session zero. I think that's super good. And for any new GMs, they could learn a lot just from knowing how to session zero. Because when
Yeah.
you're telling people no, it's no longer you telling them no, it's us telling them no because we all agreed
Yeah.
upon.
They all agree that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, gonna jump ahead here a little bit.
Is you?
A big pressure point for a lot of players, a lot of GMs and players, is combat drags along and
Yes.
you're waiting for
Yes.
your turn.
Oh
And
God. Yeah.
yeah, so
So
how do you go about that?
I have yet to find one. If anybody knows of one, please do. When I don't know if anybody, when they were first shilling that Dagerheart / Infinite World, Steven, the designer, said this great thing about initiative and personal feelings about Dagerheart and what side. It's a great quote. And he said, doesn't matter what is going on in the game. The minute combat starts, it becomes a mini game of you going deet, 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 bank, deet, 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 bank. And he's right. It becomes a mini game of move forward, hit, move back, move forward, hit, move back. Um, I have yet to find a way to make that faster. I've used I've used cards, I've used initiative trackers, I've switched the order around who goes first. But yeah, initiative. if anybody knows, please let me. And I've done, dozens of different game systems.
Right.
It just, once combat starts, it does become a slog. You just try and make the slog as interesting as possible. So even the people who aren't doing something because it's not their initiative still feel like they're involved, by occasionally describing what's going on, and whatever. But yeah, that one's a mystery to me, my friend. I still have no idea. 40 some odd years, and I still don't know how to make it faster.
Yeah, I think it's a big pressure point for a reason. I think the main reason it's a big pressure point is because the should I say the Kleenex of TTRPGs is Dungeons and Dragons,
Mhm.
and D&D is very much wait your turn when it comes to
Yes,
combat.
D&D. Yeah,
Um,
D&D is very much by your term. It breaks down to the slog.
One thing that I really liked about uh, DC 20, if you've heard of that game,
Yeah.
uh, the dungeon coach, I think, is the
Mhm.
YouTuber. I think one way that he is kind of fighting that is changing how the D&D combat system works. Instead of just here's the things you can do on your turn and you have a reaction, he has I forget what he calls them, but there's special actions and abilities your character can do outside
Mhm.
of their turn to help out and to
Yeah, yeah. Help actions, things like that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that is a good way to kind of gear. I don't know how to put it. I think it's
Yeah.
a step in the right direction as far as getting players to engage when it's not their turn.
Uh, I mean, yeah, I think the question is, you have to remind them that they can.
Right.
I mean, it's always breaks down to what they remember they can do or not do. Oh, I could do that. You could have done that for like 16 combats, dude. It's not my job to remind you more
Yeah.
than once that you have that ability. So yeah, again, that's just, a lot of systems have actions, reaction, bonus actions, help actions, non-combat actions. But I'm a horrible example, really, because of my dyslexia. So once the combat start, my brain is just like clunk, clunk, clunk. I forget people's names. I forget their initiatives. I all the time. Just so it's always been an uphill battle for me since day one. Now I've got computers and apps that make it easier. But yeah, I'm probably the worst example for running initiative. As long as people are having fun, I try to make my combats fast. I My bad guys give up. I'm one of the
Oh,
few DMs
yeah.
I know who just like my bad guys will go once they're over, and if they see like more than 90% of their guy, you know what? I'm not getting paid enough to die. I
Right.
give up. You just slaughtered 6 dudes.
That's one thing I really like about older versions of D&D. I think I don't know if it was the OSR or not, but like a morale stat for enemies.
Yeah, morale stat. Morale stats
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
losing
still play
morale,
those.
running away, watching their giving them disadvantage because they see their friends getting slaughtered and they realize
Mhm.
they're next.
Yeah,
Giving the
I
NPCs, 1 second of personality.
yeah, I use charisma instead. I just charisma plus 10 and that's their morale they have to roll to
Yeah,
determine what they're doing. Awesome. Yeah. So I said we were going to come back to it, the sandboxing thing. I
please
think
do.
this has been a debate in the community for a long time, railroading versus sandboxing. So
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
one one pressure point for sandboxing is a lack of direction. And for me, I love running both styles of game. Um, as of right now, I am running a mix between sandbox and railroad. Uh, but one thing I found was your players say, "What are we supposed to be doing again?"
Yes, players tend to think reactionary instead of proactionary, and it's still a problem, even in my game today. Yeah. Um, and that's where we get back with using the tools that you are available to you as the DM to nudge them. Um, in sandboxes, you have your factions, right?
Hmm.
And once they start getting involved with the factions, once they start getting involved with the NPCs, those are individuals you can use to remind them. You have a contract with me. You owe me money. Hey, you said you were going to do this 2 weeks ago, and you haven't done it. Um, Another one is the grandma house scenario. So the grandma house scenario is based vaguely on a story that might be true, and how two DMs approach the same hypothetical question. The first is the DM in question had a very specific railroad series of stuff he wanted to have happen in the module. They had to do this, they had to do this, they had to do this to move the story forward. One of the players mentions that his grandma lives in this town, just casual remark. Hey, my grandma lives here. Every player heard that and went, let's go. Oh, we should go visit his grandma. And they kept trying to go visit his grandma, but this DM was so set on them going the other direction that it became a battle of wills. The more they tried to go see grandma, the more he tried to force them to go to the other place, and that eventually led to the end of the game because they were arguing because they wanted to go see grandma, and the more
Right.
you tried to make them not go see grandma, the more they fought because people do not like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Now the second answer to the same hypothetical adventure, same thing. The DM has a certain series of events to get them to a certain place. They decide to go to grandma's house instead. This DM thought, well, and this is what I use too. Technically, until they go there, that place doesn't exist. It's a hypothetical idea. I don't need them to go there, really. I can just move where I wanted them to go to where they're going because they won't know the difference. So instead of putting the MacGuffin in the church that they had to go to, why don't I have grandma say, I saw weird lights in the forest the other night, or I'm making stew, but I need these mushrooms. Can you go get them? Or whatever. Use grandma. A lot of players think, and here's a mystery for a lot of DMs too, and a lot of players. A lot of players think town exists to help them.
Mm. Yeah.
Is town? You exist to help town. You are a tool that town is using to facilitate town's needs. It's not the other way around. Town is an NPC that's taking advantage of you, and town will do whatever it needs to do, or the dungeon will do whatever it needs to get you to do what it wants it to do. I need you to kill these orcs. How am I going to convince you to go kill these orcs? You're not reacting to the first one. I've got to come up with another reason because if you don't kill those orcs, I'm dead. They will kill everybody in town. It's your job to protect me. So move if they're not following the railroad, railroads have spurs, railroads have other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Just switch the track.
Right.
Just switch the track. They're not going where you want them to go. Don't get upset. Move it. Just move it. Move the plot to where they're going. You still get to use that awesome encounter, and they get the feeling of we're in control and we're doing what we wanted to do. You know.
Okay.
And then, if depending upon how you run your game, whether you run, how interactive your world is, if it is a living, breathing one by one, whatever world, what are the results of them not doing that? You know,
Right.
do you consider that or not?
Right. That's a
Sometimes, sure. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, because they didn't do that. The ball is rolling, which will eventually end up with something else. Or, you know what? They didn't do that. It's fine. It doesn't need to happen.
yeah. That's a really good analogy. I don't think I've heard of the grandma's house
Oh, okay.
before, but yeah, that's a super good analogy for railroading, and I think a lot of games have a good mix of both. My next question, kind of following up on the sandboxing element, is, and we kind of already talked about making decisions to create more fun later as opposed to giving them the maximum amount of fun in this moment.
Hmm.
One thing that I've encountered, and that's been at the forefront of my mind recently, is your players want to go somewhere that you have not created yet. In this case, grandma's house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can either delay them, knowing that combat takes a while. You could throw a combat on them, a travel encounter,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and then next session create grandma's house, just the most wonderful grandma's house experience you've ever had. Or do you give them grandma's house right now and make do, make the best with what you can off the
And
top of
we
your head?
It's funny because I just read somebody who had that happen to them. I forget who it was. Somebody on Twitter, where they really, 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 really wanted to go someplace, and he was like, "Okay, Next game, I'm going to spend all this week working on this place, and next game you will get there. And then they changed their mind, and he did all this work, and they didn't go there. And he felt so angry that he designed this, spent all week giving them what they wanted, and they said, "Fuck it, I'm not going there." That 3 hour session of him game was him saying nothing happens. And when they asked why, he told them, "Well, this you told me you were going to Disneyland. I designed Disneyland, and then at the last second you pulled out. So yeah, nothing happened." I don't think that's the solution. I understand that he was upset. I think either wing it with random tables, or if you are going to do, well, let's wait till next week and I'll map it out. Have a couple options in case they decide, yeah, I don't want to go there after all. You know, hey, hey, there's this tomb on the hills, and it's got this skull painted on the surface. It's supposed to be filled with stuff. We should go there. Oh, I don't have that designed. I'm going to design it. And then they get there and they go, oh, wait, this is the last burial place of a Sarasek, the demi-lich. Wait, this is Tomb of Horrors? I don't want to go there. Well, I got, either go, fuck it, I just spent all week learning Tomb of Horrors, or you go, that's okay. I have two other things that are going to happen in the same place.
Okay.
I don't want you to ever feel like you need to punish them.
Right.
You should never feel like you're forced to do something as a DM, because you never know. You never know what they're going to do. And you have to be prepared for them, pulling the rug out because they're people.
Right.
And people are unpredictable at the end of the day. I
Right.
do not know what my players are going to do. I can guess based upon what they've done before. I can react, but they still surprise me. 45 some years later, somebody still finds a way to surprise me, to make me laugh, to make me go, oh crap, I didn't see that. To make me go, how the hell did you do that? I, but yeah, you still shock me. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm still flustered. There are still times when I go, blah, okay, give me a sec. But again, thankfully in 2026, we have computers that will do random tables for us, so we don't have to do the work, right?
Right. Right.
If worse comes to worse, I can just do generate random encounter. Like, oh, hey, you made a lot of noise and 6 orcs showed up, right?
Right.
Generate random 5-room dungeon. I could get that in 2 seconds. So the greatest tool I have now is the computer. The greatest tool we had in the old days was random tables. Just okay, a few rolls. Right. I've got to start. And there's always ideas you can use later on. Maybe I had an idea that I never got to use, but since they've not gone where I thought they're going to go, I could somehow fit that idea in, or an encounter, or something I stole from TV, or another dungeon, or yeah. Um, it all comes back to the first thing: give yourself permission to fuck up. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to make stuff up. It's okay. Again, it's as hard to be as a DM as it is to be a player, but at the end of the day, guys, it's still a game.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
not rocket science. You're not going to fix the world. You're not going to solve quantum physics. What you are going to do is stop the bad guys, hopefully, or be the bad guys. I don't know,
Yeah, that's
but
true too.
never feel like you're butting heads. Never feel like I've seen so many DMs and players, including me, table flip, get up, walk away because they get so emotionally invested and things don't go away, and the DM and the players start butting head, and they can't find. I've butted heads with several DMs, because you can't find a happy medium, and perhaps maybe the only happy medium is, look, this game isn't working for me. Let me find you another game that is working for you. Because we're not always going to get along, but
Right.
at the end, I don't want you to feel like that guy felt. Like, I planned this, you didn't go there. You
Mhm.
You didn't go there. I'll save it for later. What can I come up with right away? Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Wing it, wing it. Give yourself permission to wing it. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, guys. People are going to say this is the worst DM advice they've ever heard. Ooh, OGGM, you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I don't.
Okay. Yeah, so to
I
sum
don't
up,
know everything, guys. I'm never going to tell you that I do. I'm never going to tell you that I'm an expert, I'm the best, or I have more experience than anybody else. I'm not. 45 years, I'm still learning. I know as much about the game now as I did from day one, which is nothing. It's a
Yeah,
constant learning experience, but as long as I'm having fun and you're having fun and we're vaguely following the rules, that's kind of really all that matters. And I know a lot of people will go, "What about raw? What about blah blah blah?" It's like, you've forgotten. You've forgotten the way.
I totally agree. Referring back to earlier to kind of sum up what I'm taking from what you've said is that grandma's house situation. They really want to go there and you haven't planned it. You could give it to them right away, but you'll throw hooks at them to see if you could steer them off track. If you can't, then you give them what they want.
Some
Is that
version
what
of what
I'm?
they want. Give them what they want, but not the way they want it.
Okay, sweet.
That's screenwriting 101, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
so
screenwriting 101, guys. And this is DMing 101. There's only 5 stories you can tell. There's only 30 ways you can tell them. And the story is always beginning, middle, twist, end. Every story ever.
right.
So as long as you understand that, everything else is just you and them interacting with each other and reacting to each other and seeing what works and what doesn't works. Watching their faces, watching their bodies, listening to your players is such an underrated skill. Listening to even when they're like, out of party talking because they think they have a moment to, or listen, what are they saying? What did they just mention that was interesting to them that I can use later? How long are they going to stand around talking before I roll a wandering monster?
Right.
It should never feel like a chore to be a DM. It should never make you feel, you should never walk up to the computer or the table feeling like I don't want to be here.
I totally agree. Another point as to your method of sandboxing is what do you do when your players just keep ignoring the hooks that you throw at them?
Again, I just recently had that in a game last year, where I threw the same hook at them 4 times. They showed no interest in the hook, tossed it aside. I can't force you to be interested in something. If I present it 4 different ways through 4 different lenses and you're still showing no interest in it, then it's just not interesting to you. Can't force people to buy Cheerios. You can only
Hmm.
present them multiple ways to advertise Cheerios in the hopes that they buy Cheerios. But at the end of the day, I can't force you to follow that adventure hook. If it's not interesting to you, fine. Toss it away. It shuffles back to the bottom of the pile. Maybe it shows up again. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it shows up again with a different costume. Again, there's only 5 stories I can tell.
Right. So my next question
Um,
would be if they're ignoring your plot hooks and they end up just wanting to do, let's say, a farming simulator, would you run that? Would you continue to run that game for them?
Would I run a farming simulator? If that's what all of my players wanted to do was set up and run a kingdom, definitely. We would get into kingdom building. We would get into them having to, do all the things. The conflict would be politics. The conflict would be, rise and fall of my kingdom. Maybe I'd pit them against each other.
Okay.
You know, Fat Chewbacca's corn farm is doing way better than your farm is, OGGM. And you know that all you have to do is redirect that river and his corn farm over, and then they have to deal. You would be the corn farm. Kingdom building can get so interesting if you've ever like been following all these people who are talking about Bronstein and stuff like that, where it's all just about factions and kingdom building and this
Hmm.
versus this, and how that world is going and how your action is making it grow. Ars Magica gives you a troop of characters and one main character, and
Right.
part of Ars Magica is playing out what's going on. So if they want to do a farm simulator, a kingdom simulator, great. Then all the conflict comes from outside. Swarm of locusts, uh, rabbits eating your things, neighboring farm declaring war on you. If it's modern day, oh, the GMO company is buying out all the other farms and demanding you use their seeds.
Right.
Sabotage. The animals get away. Cattle rustlers. You know, diseases. Just
Oh
look at
yeah.
an average the lifespan of an average farm in the old west, and the average settler in the old west. You died of dysentery.
Right.
But again, that it becomes reactionary. They're reactioning to what's the farm is, unless they're plotting out every day that what they're going to do with the farm. Sooner or later, it's them reacting to me, telling them what happened on the farm.
Okay.
But if that's
Awesome.
what they want to play, Kingdom Builder, there's plenty of stuff out there for me to run a Kingdom Builder campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
My,
If you're creative enough, there's always something you could throw at them.
yeah,
Um, Great. Yeah. So we'll move on from that. What's the biggest failure that you've experienced as a GM, and what do you do to avoid doing that in the future?
my biggest failure.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes, people leaving my game because they felt unwelcome.
Hmm.
Me not seeing the signs, somebody breaking down in tears at my game. That was probably one. I don't know. Maybe the guy who said his dog knocked over the lava lamp. I, if I end the session going, God, that was awful, then yeah, I know I failed. If I see somebody falling asleep, I know I failed. But yeah, if people leave my game and don't come back, or it ends up becoming a personal animosity or something like that, yeah, I think I failed. You know,
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm starting to see a constant pattern, and for those of you that are watching this at home, uh, I think that's one important thing. If you're just starting to GM, bring a smile to the table because no matter what happens, the most important thing is that you're having fun with this hobby.
yeah, yeah. There's no right way. There are people who will say there's wrong ways to DM, and that's absolutely true. But I mean, you've got to find your voice. And if you fail, to paraphrase Batman, what do we do when we fall, son? Get back up. We try again. Uh, Apologies. Apologize. Hey, how can I fix this? I understand you didn't have a good time last game or whatever. And sometimes you have to say, look, this isn't working. Let me help you find a new game. You know,
Right.
my
Yeah.
game doesn't work for you. My table doesn't work for you. That's fine. People don't always get along. But there's other games out there. I don't want you to leave the hobby. I don't want you to feel like you're unwelcome in the hobby just because our table didn't work.
Yeah. Kind of a sidebar related to that is as a little while ago, there was two sessions in a row, and I had just started this campaign, so it was like either the second or third or first and second session or whatever. I showed up and I was not having fun as a GM, and I I was throwing these things at my players, and they weren't doing what I expected. Not that I was railroading them too hard, and that was where the frustration was, but they weren't engaging in pillars of the game that I wanted them to
Mhm.
engage with. And keep in mind, my players are all different. One of them loves combat and wants to look cool. The other one loves puzzles and wants to figure things out. And the other person just wants to role play and engage in those social interactions. And I
Mhm.
was trying to impose what I thought the game was on them when I should have been designing the game for their characters. And I think once I like shifted my mindset and got over that hurdle, I actually started having more fun because I knew
Oh,
that
cool.
they were having fun with my
There,
game.
everyone. Yeah. Yes.
So those of you
Um.
at home that that resonate with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. A good way to get out of that is open-ended questions, which is another teacher trick. Who do you know in this building, Pat Chewbacca, that you want to go talk to? Think
right?
suddenly they're engaged. Instead of sitting there, suddenly they're like, "Oh, I know Irwin the blacksmith. I know Irwin the blacksmith. I want to go talk to Irwin the blacksmith." You know, what are you looking for? I go look on the adventure board. Are there any adventures? I don't know. What specifically do you think appeals to you? I want to solve some puzzles. Is there anything that's might get me to solve some puzzles? Oh, yeah. Turns out the town wizard is having some trouble getting his latest thing to work. Whatever.
Right.
Somebody's been kidnapped. Oh, whatever. Another great thing to have in your DM toolkit, kids: steal. Steal plentifully and steal awful, as many as you can. TV, movies, cartoons, video games, 10 million different adventures out there and counting, other people's games, other games you've been in. Steal.
Mm-hmm.
Steal people's ideas, steal from other adventures, mash adventures together to make new adventures, steal the plot of a movie. I ran my players through the plot of the Maltese Falcon and the plot of Treasure of Sierra Mata. They never knew it. Both times they never knew. They never got it that it was the Maltese Falcons and Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Even when I said badges, we don't need those stinking badges. They never got it. But yeah, I steal plots all the time. God.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Steal.
actually
Steal. You have so
my
many tools available, guys.
my video on building a campaign.
Mhm.
Literally, the first step is take inspiration, and I say
Yeah.
like at least three sources of inspiration.
Yeah.
Um, and if nothing else, if there's nothing out there that is exactly like what you want to run, then just make sure that you write down uh, exactly what it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, that's so true. Um, so you said there's no right way to GM, but there are wrong ways. Uh,
Yes.
so as far as the right way to GM, what's something you do every session that you think all GMs should do?
Remind myself of what they did last game over my notes, I guess. And again, have my ideas, but don't have any preconceived notion. Also, I assume my players are used to my goofy style of play. Otherwise, they wouldn't continue to coming back. So,
Right.
you know, I know what they expect. I know how the world works. I know where they are. I know where they're going. I know usually what's going on. And when the camera starts on them, I usually know what's going on in the world, and I have notes. All my notes are usually prepared. So if they go and talk to somebody, I've got my little beeps about that specific NPC, and if they go talk to somebody who I don't have planned, I've got little tables and little ideas, and there's always voices in your head and personalities you can steal from TV shows, movies, whatever. So yeah, I think the best prepared is again, just give yourself permission to be okay if things go pear-shaped.
Mm-hmm.
I prepared all this, but it's not working. How do I keep this going? Well, this is a living, breathing world. There's other stuff going on. How do I get their attention? What can I do to make this interesting? Because whatever I had planned isn't working. Look at my notes, look at my world, look at things they've said or they've shown interest in, and see if there's some way to bring that back. Let them take, control for a bit. Just sort of be quiet and see what they do and what they say. And then as somebody once said, when in doubt, throw orcs at them. If all else fails, random encounter.
Right.
Oh, our fight breaks out. Oh, what's that noise in the roof? It's a slime. Oh, orcs attack you for no reason. Crap goes off.
Yeah. Okay. Reviewing your
What's
notes.
what's flying overhead? Oh, hey, is that a dragon?
Yeah. One thing
Worst comes to
actually,
worst, wandering monsters.
the talking about the dragon is it's really funny because actually I stole one of my buddies who's also a GM. I stole this idea from him just because you're throwing a random encounter at a party doesn't mean that the random encounter needs to engage with the party. So he said he likes throwing it no matter what level the party is, throwing a dragon, but it's just a dragon flying by. He
Yeah.
has
Oh yeah.
no
I,
intention of
I
going
do
like.
that too. I do that too. You hear noises. A lot of my random encounters don't happen because they don't interact with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think sometimes, I know this sounds weird, you have to think of point of view from the random encounter. I don't know you're there. I'm wandering by. You don't attack me. I keep wandering by.
Right.
you know? There's lots of times when they run into things like dinosaurs and stuff, and they just like, oh, I'm just gonna stay still. And I'm like, okay. You stay still. The dinosaur doesn't know you're there. The tiger doesn't know you're there. You're
Right.
doing nothing to attract attention to yourself. That's still a random encounter. It doesn't have to always be a fight, and it doesn't have to always be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're going to go where they're going to go, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And if they get themselves in trouble, it's not your fault.
Right.
You can give them warnings. We're walking up to this cave that we heard about. They go in that cave, they're going to die. What do I see? Oh, you see a bunch of arrows laying on the ground. You see a pile of skulls. There's these burned swaths of dead grass all over the place. There's this foul smell coming out of the cave that you've never smelt before, but oh god, it's just awful. I mean, we still go in the cave. All right, yeah, you see more skulls. You're squishing on guts. You can smell sulfur. We go deeper. It's starting to get warm, and yeah, your feet are starting to. Oh, what's is that? A gold coin? Is that a pot? Is that another skull? What's that pile? It looks like just a pile of poop. But oh my god, it's just okay. We keep going deeper. Yeah, it's starting to get warmer, and roll saving throw
Right.
versus fire. As you woke up the red dragon.
The
Yeah, give him clues. Give him clues if you think it's too dangerous. But hey, it's their game.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
put the
true.
gun on the table. I just put the gun on the table. I didn't tell you to use it.
That's right. That's right. The Yeah. So you said every GM should check their notes.
Yeah.
And I've looked online, and it doesn't seem to be a big pressure point for a lot of people. But for me, I feel like how to take notes as a GM has been a topic of thought for me. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you take your notes, and when do you take your notes while you're GMing?
During the game, I just have a big pad of paper for each campaign, and then my notes are just strewn all over the paper, uh, and then I have to go back after the game's over and go back after my notes and translate them to the next page so I remember what I was talking about. you know,
Okay.
what is? Why did I write down "Remember Rebecca"? And then I'm like trying to, who was Rebecca? Why did I write this down?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to rewatch the game on the video because thankfully now we can record them. But in the old days, I've got pages of notes, and I would still be like, "What does this mean? Why did I write that down?" Barbarian, take this shoe. I said, "Why did I put that down? I knew that was important. I was going to do something with that, but now I can't remember what it was." You could also ask them, "Hey, do you guys remember what happened? That why we were going to go see Rebecca? Why that was so important to you 4 games ago?"
Right.
Yeah, so notes are important as a player, as a DM, as a storyteller, because you never know what off kilter thing might become the thing they're fascinated with. You never know where they will go. You never know what they will mishear. This is a big one. Players mishear stuff all the time, and you can either run with it or try and correct them. I remember one game where somehow they connected one NPC and another NPC to being the same NPC, even though I never said that. And like it was somehow the human blacksmith became an orc. And I never mentioned that there was any orcs in town, but they heard something somewhere in the conversation, and their unconsciousness all, collective unconscious, all keyed. Oh well, the blacksmith's an orc. He's up to something because he's the only orc in town. Never said that. I don't know where they got the connection that the blacksmith was an orc, but I was like, I could be like, no, that's wrong. Or I could be like, okay, let's run with it.
Yeah,
What
they just
happens when
created
they,
their own hook.
you know, you just created your own hook? What happens when they go attack the blacksmith and it turns out A, he's not an orc and you just killed an innocent man? Or B, oh yeah, he is an orc. Hmm. Weird. Now you got yourself in trouble with the only orc in town. And you killed the blacksmith. Oh no, who's going to fix your stuff?
Right. Right. Better find another town or hire someone else.
Got to find another town because you just killed the blacksmith. And unlike video games, they don't regrow.
Yeah. So yeah, the problem I have with notes is, oh man, boy, do I suck at taking notes during the session. If it's important, I'll wait till after, and I'll make sure that I write it down. If it's super important, I might stop the game while they're having a conversation, or maybe the game will come to a halt altogether while they're waiting for me to present the next scene or whatever, wherever they're going, describing whatever they're looking at.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
just
might
looking at my
jot
notes
something
from the last
down.
game I ran.
But one thing
And
that I
my notes are
started
a mess,
doing,
guys. I should not be the example.
yeah, same here as far as taking notes. I definitely am not the example there, but I think one thing that's really helped me for future hooks, planning for future hooks, is loose ends, those hooks that they leave, those things they ignore, I make
Yeah.
sure that I jot them down, and they will grow into, they could grow into something bigger later when they're more leveled
Oh yeah.
up as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Got things down. There's a huge plot hook hanging over my current game that they have completely forgotten, but that's one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, no, this one is set in stone. It's gonna happen. Just because you've forgotten it doesn't mean the world has.
That's right.
Where other ones where I've been like, yeah, they're not. I don't really need that to happen. But then it's like, oh yeah, you do still owe the Lich a favor. Sooner or
Right.
later, he's gonna collect or whatever. Just in case
Um,
my players are listening, that's not a hint, or
uh,
maybe it is.
so one of the previous question that kind of got us on this was, what's something you do every session you think all GMs should do? Uh, I guess kind of the flip side to that, what do you think is some bad advice for GMs that's currently floating around the community?
You have to do voices, and it has to be like Critical Role. You have to run raw.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to run it a specific way. Uh, you're doing it wrong. That's a big one. You're doing it. You're playing my game wrong. Especially if you follow Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. There's so many people whose entire YouTube personality is calling out other people and telling them how awful they are and how awful your game is because you're not playing the way you're supposed to play. That's
right,
not how Gygax did it. That's not raw. That's not what it says. You're doing it wrong. And they'll throw in insults and they'll say vile things about you. I got kicked out of the OSR. Literally had somebody tell me, get out of the OSR. It's
wow.
like you can't kick me out of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
What are you gonna do?
crazy.
Come to my house and throw my away? Here, turn in your OSR membership card. I don't have one because there's no such thing. Yeah, so the worst, I mean, if we're just worst advice is psychological advice like that. Like
Right.
you have to do raw, or you're playing wrong. You don't have to do any of it.
Hmm.
You don't have to roll dice. One of the Gygax is we go back to Godfather himself. And by the way, I do not hold Gygax to like being a saint of gaming. He was a guy. He
Right.
pooped like everybody else. OD&D has good things and bad things, just like every other game. He said some great stuff. He said some tough stuff. He's just a dude who just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Um, and it's the same thing that I keep saying. Gygax said, it's just a game. Nothing I'm writing here is set in stone.
Hmm.
Go look at other games, play other games. He told people to play other games. As more and more games they came out, he would say, go play other games. Go learn from other DMs. I'm not the only guy out there. Play a superhero role playing game, play an Old West role playing game, play a space game, play somebody else's D&D game, play somebody else's not D&D game. Learn what fits for you, learn what you like, learn the way that you like to play, and then in 2026, God willing, you can find two other people who can show up once a month to play for 2 hours. You are blessed, my friend. You are blessed.
Hmm.
If that's it, if that's all you can get, that's more than anybody could hope for in today's day and age. Because the real world is, and if you can carve out a few hours, and it's only once a month, be grateful.
Yeah.
So the worst advice I think, is either try and be like someone else. You got to be like Mercer, or you got to do it a specific way. You got to run it a specific way. If people insulting you, don't listen to them. You're gonna find your voice, and your voice is gonna work, or it's not gonna work, and your voice is gonna evolve. And if you're lucky, you find a couple other people who appreciate the way you tell that story, and it's your story and it's their story, and the story begins, the story ends, and then real life happens outside the story, and that's okay. And if the story isn't enjoyable, you have my permission to change the story. And if you don't like the way the rules are written, you have my permission to change the rules.
Yeah.
And again, it was one of those things where I'm going to get on, but I'm 60. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. There's a reason that D&D
Yeah,
isn't a
yeah,
video game.
yeah, it's a game. It's a game. And
Yeah.
you're taking time out of your day to spend time to listen to me be an idiot for 3 hours where you could just play, Diablo for free or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could be at the movies, or you could be with your kids, or you could be working, or, snogging your girlfriend, or at the movies, or 100 other things that are far more important than fighting orcs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just it's have fun, please, please, just have fun, and don't let anybody make you feel like, because we know there's people out there whose whole video YouTube thing is calling out other people and telling them you're awful because you're playing it wrong.
Right.
And they get thousands of hits, and you're like, well, this guy's got thousands of hits. He must know what he's talking about. No, no, he doesn't. That's just his thing. That's just that person's thing. Don't let that make you feel bad. Last thing I ever want to hear somebody say is like, I feel like killing myself because that guy called me out on his video. And I had a friend who said that about
Wow.
a year ago. Thankfully, they didn't, but
Yeah.
they got, they were in a really bad place because this person said horrible things about them and they were very emotionally vulnerable. And I just had to remind them it's a game. He's
Yeah.
no one. He poops just like you. He's no one special.
Yeah, that kind of behavior is definitely not tolerated. And
And that,
if
yeah, and
I
that kind of
witness
behavior
that
is
in
not
this
welcome. But
community, I'm booting them.
yeah,
If they're in my Discord server,
yeah,
I'm booting them. If they're following me
yeah.
or subscribed or whatever, I'm booting them. That's just not
But,
acceptable.
they're out there, and the video world lets them do it, and you just have to understand. They're just people who, whatever. This is how they get responses. It's fine, and it's Jerry. It's gladiators in the Coliseum appealing to the lowest common denominator. At the end of the day, preschool 101, we all poop.
Yep.
We're all the same. Nobody's special.
All right. So the next
It's
question
just
would
a stupid.
be kind of, I guess, piggybacking off of that. Uh, and I think I already know the answer, but what is your biggest pet peeve at the table?
Well, falling asleep, but disrespecting the table. That's
Yeah.
my biggest pet peeve. Disrespecting the table. And it's not just how you treat either people, it's how you treat the environment, you know. And this is more for in-person play than computer play, right?
Hmm.
Um Probably like, look, again, I understand this is a real world and you've got real world stuff, but it's not asking too much that you put on the earphones when we're playing, and try and find ways to keep the outside noise to a bare minimum. But again, I understand you're at home and you're taking time out from the kids, so it's not going to be much of a pet peeve. But really, I think this is one that I get another one that I don't think people care about, especially in face-to-face gaming. Treating the location with respect, whether
Yeah.
it be your house or a game store or a convention or whatever. Clean up after yourself. I'm not your mom. The game store owner is not your mom. God, I can't tell you how many times when Seth's was still open here where I live that I would stay after to help clean up because people were like, one time like people came in with Kentucky Fried Chicken and during their game they were just eating the Kentucky Fried Chicken and throwing the bones on the floor
Oh man.
and having to come back and having to stay after to help the staff clean up, or when people would bring in pizza and spill sodas and stuff and just totally disrespect the place. And I've seen it
Yeah.
at people's houses and cons and stuff like that. So yeah, my probably biggest pet peeve is falling asleep and disrespecting. It used to be phones, but now I understand that maybe some people need the phone to
Hmm.
interact, especially if they're neurodivergent. So I don't really bemoan if they have the phone at the table because you could say they're not paying attention, but now I can say, well, maybe they are paying attention just a different way because they're
Right.
neurodivergent, you know. But yeah, it used to be phones because I thought they weren't paying attention to me, but then I realized, a very smart person way, but they're just paying attention a different way. Are they still interacting with the world?
Yep.
They
Uh,
showed up, dude. They showed up to your game and they didn't have to.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I only have a few more questions left.
Go ahead.
And this one in particular might be a little spicy, might not be. But
Oh, dude, no.
uh,
Ask me anything. I have no secrets.
now that AI has been largely integrated into almost every industry in the world, what do you think the role of AI is in TTRPGs?
Uh, Ready Player One. I mean, eventually there'll be AI DMs and they'll be better than me. It's a tool. It's a tool like
Yeah.
anything else. Paraphrase Blade Runner. It's a tool as long as it does its job. It's not my problem. Um,
Yeah.
we've used random tables and computer aided things for years. The second anything came out that made it a little bit easier, we had it. Electric dice rollers, dice towers, note takers, Discord groups, Tumblr groups, Facebook groups, AOL things, it's just another tool. What's it going to do? Roll dice, help me spice up an adventure, give me random tables. Great, fine, whatever. And okay, sure, you had the AI write the entire adventure. You still have to run it.
Hmm.
You're still reading the script, just like it's no different than reading a module. And when the AI doesn't catch something, it's you still have the DM to have to react to them reacting to the story. It's no different than a module. So, yeah, it's a tool. The big argument, of course, is having AI write your stuff and AI art. And I think AI art is the bigger of the two
Yeah.
arguments. And since I have used AI art and I do use AI art, and it's such a catch-22. I mean, it's the topic of a completely separate conversation, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's a tool. It's no different than any of the other electronic tools that have come into any hobby. If you use it right and you're honest about using it, I don't think it matters. It's
Yeah.
when you lie about using it.
Yeah, that's true. That would definitely be plagiarism. I
Yeah.
think, in my mind, if you lie about using it. Uh, but yeah, I think it's kind of a topic people are afraid to people that think AI art is cool.
Mhm.
I think a lot of them are afraid to come out in this community because of the amount
I'm
of
not. I
hate.
love AI art. I
Yeah,
love the
same.
AI art that I had in my product. I regret having to change some of the art because the people were upset because there was some AI art I made that I was like, damn.
Yeah, I think yeah. So for me personally, I would like to be the guy that hires other people. So I would love to be able to contract art out, like
Me too. If I had
art
the money, I'd be
pieces.
paying a
And
living.
yes, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing that makes AI art so wonderful is that people who can't afford a real
Yeah,
artist.
it's the catch-22 of
Yeah,
real art. I want to use real art. I can't afford real art. I'm using AI art now. As soon as the AI art makes me enough money, I will use you
right.
to do the real art. I will replace the AI art as soon as I can. But right now, it's the AI art. And they don't hear that. They just hear, oh, I'm not using you.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I want to use you. I can't afford you. Give me some free stuff. And if I make enough money, then I'll start paying you.
The next few questions are specifically for the audience and for new GMs that want to benefit themselves by using resources that you used. So the next question would be who inspires the method in which you GM?
Who are my inspirations? GMs I've played with in the past, obviously. Being an educator in the past, present, future, kids. The imagination and storytelling skills of kids
Hmm.
is just, you learn so much uh, from just how they play and how they tell their stories and how their little brains work. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because my YouTubing, Mount Rushmore of inspirations, hardly anybody on it is game masters. uh,
Okay.
but the people I've learned the most from are the two game masters I played with the most. They taught me a lot, but online, it's gotta be Runehammer Hank is number one. Hank Frankel of Runehammer fame, index card role playing game.
Okay. Yeah.
That that was probably number one. I know it's in real life the guy may or may not be scum, but watching Zach Sabbath run his game and watching how he ran for people who'd never played before, that was really interesting um, and unique. Zach Sabbath as a person, completely different story. But who else has inspired me to be better, to be different? Who uh, Chris Perkins running Acquisitions Incorporated. Probably the last 10 years, I stole so much from him.
Okay.
The way he ran the things, the way he told the stories, the way he dealt with how the players at Acquisitions Incorporated, you know, reacted. It was Chris Perkins at his best, at his happiest. You know, you could just see the smile on his face when he was running Acquisitions Incorporated at PAX West and stuff. That smile's gone now, sadly.
Hmm.
Yeah, huge was Chris Perkins. Um, There's inspirations that I have where I'm like, don't do that. See what that guy's doing? Do not do that. In the
Right.
way of inspirations, like,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't know.
All right. Yeah. So, kind of going off of that last question, what, in your opinion, is the best way to learn to GM?
Read the book, read it again, come up with a plan, assume that plan's going to go wrong. Do not watch any YouTuber gaming. Don't watch Critical Role. Don't watch Acquisitions Incorporated. Don't watch me. Run your game the best way you can run it. Because if you had fun and everybody at the table had fun and says they want to do it again, you won. And that is the best role playing game in the world at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So that would be my start. That would be my starter advice. Now, for purely mechanics, start small, run dungeons.
Okay.
Don't try and write the Lord of the Rings your first time out. I've seen DMs do that where they develop this whole complex world and all these NPCs and stuff in this whole detailed area. And then we as the players went a completely different direction and did not give any. Well, I don't care. In fact, the more you try shoving that down our throats, the more we're going the other direction.
Right.
We really don't care about that kingdom. Stop trying to show off how cool that kingdom is. So he got upset because we never went there, you know? But yeah, start small, run dungeons. Feel free to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, steal. Guys, the stuff, all the work has been done for you. You've got 50 some odd years to pick and choose from, you know? You don't have to come up with your own world at first. There's plenty of pre-generated worlds out there that will appeal to any imagination and any storytelling. Um, yeah, just again, just trust yourself, and give yourself permission to make mistakes. You're gonna mess up, and that's okay.
Awesome. Yeah. One last question, and I would like to tell you this conversation has been amazing. It's been really cool
Thank
to
you. I try.
talk to someone else who's had tons more experience than I have. I've
Oh, I
been
don't know about that, but
I've
thank you.
been GMing for uh, 2 years now, 2.5 years.
Okay.
So um, it's been a really good conversation. And
Thank you.
the last question: if you were to recommend one resource, an app, a website, a book to future GMs, what would it be?
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Appendix N.
Okay.
The random tables are still the best. They're still cribbed to this day. The suggested reading. I mean, obviously, you would change the suggested reading since then. Gygax's advice, independent. There's a reason why that's the one everybody goes back to
Hmm.
time and time again. It's those appendixes in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That's the cornerstone of 90% of the OSR.
Right.
So if there's only one thing you would own besides the rule book for whatever game you're running and dice and paper, yeah, get the PDF of Appendix N and those random tables and the ideas, because we still use those tables today. We still use those ideas today. We still refer to those books today. So there's got to be something in it worth taking, and it doesn't matter what you're running. It doesn't have to be fantasy because there are other genres out there, guys. Remember, I'm still mainly a superhero role playing game guy. The advice is sound, but yeah, the rule book. If you're running Castles and Crusades, own at least one copy of the rules. If you're running Fat Chewbacca D20, own at least one copy of the rules.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you so much. I don't think I've read that, so I'll go take a look at that when we're done here.
Yeah, the
But
appendix, or just pretty much any OSR game that came out after like 1980, all is basically telling the same story.
awesome.
Even my
Yeah.
game.
Um. So yeah, everyone at home, go check out OGGM on YouTube. If
Thank you.
there's uh, anything else you want to link, or if you want anyone to find your Twitter, or if you have a website, also check out his Vigilantes for Shadow Dark.
Only
And
$10.
and yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, we forgot one question.
Uh
How have you not gotten in trouble with Disney yet for using that name?
oh. I don't. I don't know. I don't think
Fat
they.
Chewbacca.
I don't think they care enough at the moment.
Okay.
But
Because when I
but
saw your site, that was like the first question. I was like, how has he gotten away with this name?
if if they care, if I get an email or something, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thanks for reaching out. I greatly appreciate it. You can tell it's a topic I'm always passionate about because of the amount of foul words I said. But
Yeah, same
yeah, I
here.
appreciate it. And hopefully, if somebody learns anything, I've done my job. And if you want to, hop, skip, jump, roll your way over to Drive Through RPG and pick up Vigilantes for Shadow Darks for only $10, say no. But of course, as I say at the end of all my videos, if you can't, I completely understand. Money's tough. So just have a good day. Spread a little kindness. I wouldn't have met this guy if I hadn't been doing my shouting out, spreading kindness experiment. So look what came out of that.
Yeah, that's super awesome, and I thank you a lot for that too. I thought that was
No
it
problem.
made my day.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm here for.
And hopefully we can connect
Thank you.
again another time. If you guys made it to the end, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I put a lot of work into this video. It may not seem like it, but it took me a while. So make sure you go check out the OGGM on YouTube and go look at his Vigilantes for Shadow Dark. The link will be in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you at the table.